All right, let's talk about a big goal, your first 1,000 euros in passive income. But here's the thing, you gotta forget all the old tricks. We're gonna dive into what the market looks like in 2026, and it's a whole new ballgame. The rules haven't just been rewritten, they've been completely torn up. So, let's jump right in. You know, this quote right here, it absolutely nails the biggest challenge for 2026. See, in this hyper-specific digital world we're in now, the biggest risk you face, it isn't that your big idea is gonna fail. Nope. It's that no one will ever even see it. Becoming invisible is the new failure, and it's almost always because you're using an outdated strategy. So, what does that outdated playbook even look like? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. The old way, think back to 2020, was kind of like casting a huge wide net. You know, generic blogs, broad topics, just hoping you'd catch some traffic. The new way, for 2026, it's more like spear fishing. We're talking about a high-precision ecosystem where it's not about volume anymore, it's all about surgical specificity. Okay, so this risk of invisibility, this is exactly what we need to tackle head-on. We're going to break down precisely why those old strategies, the ones that worked just a few years ago, are now the very things that will make you completely invisible. And to avoid being invisible, you've got to make a really crucial mindset shift. We have to stop thinking like a hobbyist and start thinking like a problem solver. What does that mean? It means we shift our focus away from our own passion and onto someone else's problem. And you know where that starts? It starts by tearing down probably the single most dangerous piece of advice you can get. Follow your passion. Look, let me be clear. In 2026, passion is the fuel, for sure. But the market is the engine. And if your engine isn't built for a real, paying market, you're just going to burn all your fuel and go absolutely nowhere. So how do we build the right engine then? It all comes down to extreme specificity. This slide just illustrates the difference so well. We have to stop thinking of these huge, broad categories like health as niches. Come on, in 2026, these are nations. They're massive. To find any real profit, you have to go so much deeper. You're not looking for how to lose weight. You're looking for metabolism optimization for menopausal women who practice CrossFit. Do you see the difference there? It's not just a wording choice. It's a massive financial one. And to do that, you need a very specific skill. Let's call it analytical empathy. This is your secret weapon, I'm telling you. It's the ability to get inside your customer's head and understand not just what their problem is, but the pain, the frustration they feel because of it. That feeling, right there, that's where passive income is born. And when you get this specific, when you understand the pain point this deeply, your entire role changes. You're not just some seller anymore. You're a surgeon. You're there to solve a very specific, high-stakes problem. And let's be honest, surgeons get paid a whole lot more than general practitioners, right? Okay, so how do we actually find these surgical opportunities in a systematic way? Well, it all comes down to a core framework I call the 3 pillars of profit. This is your practical, step-by-step guide to make sure a niche is actually built for success in 2026. The pillars themselves are pretty straightforward, but they are absolutely non-negotiable. First up, specific purchasing power. Second, algorithmic accessibility. And third, automation scalability. Let's break down exactly what each of these means. Pillar 1 is all about the money, and the crucial point is this. You must target an audience that already has the budget and the willingness to pay for a solution like yours. You're not looking for students who are just hunting for discounts. No, you're looking for professionals who will gladly pay you to save them 5 hours a week. Big difference. Pillar 2 is all about being found. I mean, in 2026, the algorithms on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Google, they're your distributors. If your niche is too vague, the algorithm just gets confused. It has no idea who to show your content to. But when you are hyper-specific, the AI knows exactly who your ideal customer is, and it will literally deliver them right to your doorstep for free. And pillar 3. This is what actually makes it passive. Your solution has to be scalable. It needs to be something like a standardized info product or a digital asset that solves, say, 80% of the customer's problem without you having to show up and do it manually. Otherwise, you haven't built a passive income stream. You've just created another job for yourself. Okay, so with that framework in your back pocket, it's time to make this personal. It's time to find your unfair advantage. This is the unique angle that only you can bring to the market. So really ask yourself this question on the screen. What is your unique combination of skills, professional experience, or even just weird niche hobbies? Trust me, passive income is so much easier when you're not starting from scratch. It's about leveraging what you already know. Now, here's a more advanced technique for you. Start looking for adjacent niches. So many markets are totally saturated if you try to attack them head on, but they can be completely empty if you just approach them from the side. You're serving the same hungry market, but you're doing it from an angle where there's almost no competition. Let's make this real with an example. The market for trading courses, it's a traffic jam. It is incredibly saturated. But the adjacent niche, risk psychology for part-time traders, that's a wide open road. See, you're targeting the exact same people, but you're solving a more specific, high-value problem that they have. Okay, let's bring this all back home and connect all this strategy to the actual goal. It's time to look at the simple math that gets you to that first big income milestone. 1,000 euros. This is our target. And it's not just about the money. It's proof of concept. It proves the system works. And using these specific high-value strategy we've been talking about, it's way more achievable than you might think. This table right here just says it all. You have two paths. You can try to sell 100 units of a 10 euro product, which is just a high volume grind. Or you can sell just 10 units of a 100 euro product. For a beginner, that high value, low volume strategy is so much more sustainable. It requires less traffic and it gives you a much wider margin for error. All right, we've got the mindset, we've got the framework, and we've got the math. Now for the most important part of all, execution. It's time to turn this entire strategy into reality. And you have to remember, choosing the niche is just step one. The market of 2026 rewards relentless consistency. Once you've planted your flag in a micro niche, your job is to completely saturate that space. Build trust, build authority, and whatever you do, don't give up after 2 weeks. And please, whatever you do, do not spend 6 months building the perfect product in secret. Use a rapid testing loop instead. Create a minimum viable offer, launch it fast with a simple funnel, and just see how the market responds. Let the data, not your assumptions, tell you if you're on the right track. So I'll leave you with this one thought. Everything we've discussed today really just boils down to this single question. Your first 1,000 euros in passive income, it isn't hiding in some popular trend. It's hiding inside a painful, specific problem that nobody else is bothering to solve. So have you found your problem X yet?